Hi, everyone. I was told we are ready to start. So my name is Elaine, and welcome to my talk. It's my first ever talk in a conference. Jose made me do it. Blame him if it's not good. So let me start with a little story for you. Some years ago, I was working in this company, and they had just hired this new senior leader that was brilliant at what they were doing, but they had little to no prior knowledge to agile ways of working, the roles, the Scrum Master, the Agile Coach, what they did on a day-to-day. So we had many chats about Agile. We spent many great hours together. And I remember this one chat where they wanted to know the value that the Scrum Master role was bringing to the company. They didn't want to know the detail, like what is it that you do every day. They want to know what's the value they were bringing to the company. From their perspective, they were thinking, we're making this investment in this Scrum Master chapter. What is it that we're getting in return? So did my best at the time that I could. Time passed, and I started to notice that I was having more and more chats like that with leadership and senior leaders. And that stayed in my mind. And I became a head of Agile. I was leading a team of Agile coaches, and that chat was in my mind all the time. And I was like, how can I help with this? Because I was noticing that when you're talking to the teams, there was no question about the value that the Scrum Master Agile Coach was bringing, because they were with the people all the time, right? They could see it. But talking to senior leaders, they were like, yeah, but what is it that you guys bring? So as a head of, I had the opportunity to close that gap. So I started experimenting with different ways in which I could do that, and this is what I'm going to show you today. The picture you see on the screen is my very first mission statement. And I remember spending close to 2 hours trying to find the right picture for it. And off I went, working for another senior leader, to show my mission statement for what my team of Agile coaches were doing. And I said, we're here to make this company a truly Agile organization. Very proud. And they look at me and they're like, what? And I'm like, yeah, truly Agile organization. It's there. It's saying it all. And they're like, I don't get it. What do you mean? And after many attempts to try to explain it, I realized that I need to, from then on, start finding ways to translate into simple terms what I really meant by that. So, mission. So this is the mission for your Agile coaching function, your chapter for Scrum Masters. This is not the mission for the company that you're working on. I've learned how to write better mission statements, and it always helped me to start with, we are here to. And when trying to write what we are here to come up with this mission statement, it always helped me to think about, why does this team exist in this company? Why did they hire the very first Agile Coach Scrum Master? It might be the Agile bandwagon at the time, but it might be something entirely different. You're going to make some assumptions, you're going to talk to some people, and you're going to hear stories about what the company was going through when they had that need to hire the very first one. So once you have all these anecdotes, go and start validating some of them. Normally, there's a sponsor in a leadership position for the Agile function. There's someone that truly believes in Agile. They think that Agile is the right thing for their company, and they're going to vouch for hiring every single one of the team. So validate with them if your assumptions about why you exist are bang on, or you are close to it. I also ask them, what is it that you think we are here to do? Because most of the time when I ask that question, I found out that what I thought I was there to do was different to what they thought I was there to do. And it's very likely going to need that sponsor later on. So it's good to have those facts. Then write your mission statement. Have it a go, but keep it simple. Plain English, avoid jargons, a liner, right? Once you do that, and you might do that with your team because you want that to resonate through to them, test it out. Get your statement, talk to people, go to talk to the teams that work with those Scrum Masters, Agile coaches, talk to senior leaders, see if when they read it, it makes sense. one thing to remember is if you have to explain after they've read it, you probably need to work a little bit more on that statement. It should be bangled in front of you. Right. Once you do that, it's time to think about, you know what you're there to do, right? It's time to think about what are the big things you want to achieve in the year you have ahead of you. And this is your strategy. I call it the big picture for how the team is aiming to achieve their mission. So when thinking about writing strategy for your agile coaching function, so the things that you want to solve, the big problems that you want to solve in the company for the next year, it's helpful to understand what the company is trying to achieve first. Every company has a strategy, every company has a mission, and understanding what they want to achieve is crucial. Also, you're working in the company on the day-to-day. You can see what the problems are and what the things that are likely going to hinder the successful delivery of that strategy. And it's very likely that you're going to end up helping solving all those problems. So pairing the two is going to be helpful. With the mission statement that you just wrote in mind, start thinking about your key objectives for the year. I like to write strategies for my agile coaching teams yearly, because it's like not too long and not short enough. So it's very helpful. Like a year is a really good time frame. Also, have your key objectives. That can be bets, experiments, end states, if depending on what problem you're solving. Define ways you're going to measure, so you know you got there. You know that you have actually achieved those key objectives. It might resemble OKRs. Great way of doing this, using OKRs. One thing to point is, once you have that, validate if the key objectives that you have are helping, or you think are helping, the company achieve their objectives and the company and solve the problems I mentioned before. That's your test that you are in the right space. Right, so now it's time to do the work. But first, my first key takeaway for you. Align the strategy to the company's objectives and not the Agile Manifesto. And it feels odd saying that, knowing that Alistair was here yesterday night. But I think the moment for me that I realized and made a big difference is that the Agile coaching team is not there to make that company a truly Agile company like I thought at the beginning. We're using our Agile skills, we're using our knowledge, we're using everything in our toolbox to help the company achieve their objectives. So aligning what this team of Agile coaches is doing, not to what Agile Manifesto is actually saying. Your aim is not there. Your aim is to use that to help the company achieve the objectives. I think you're going to be more successful. Right, time to do the work. So you're going to create some initiatives every quarter, every 6 months, whatever cadence you think of. And these initiatives are going to be the things that this team is actually going to do to achieve that strategy. So think about our initiative as a defined piece of work that aims to solve a problem. I have to give kudos to my current team because we've experimented a lot with this format to arrive to this. I had one aim when I started, which was the initiatives in my mind had to be like a one-stop shop. Anyone, anywhere, or everyone, anywhere in the company, they should be able to go to an initiative and read it and understand exactly what's going on. So these are the elements that I end up, and I think they'll work best. But by all means, not set in stone. Find the ones that work for you, for your context. Starting with a problem statement. We solve problems most of the time. So what is it that the problem you're trying to solve? What's the impact of that problem in the context you are in? And add some examples. People really resonate with examples. Once you know that, think about what are the things you want to achieve, your outcomes. You can have 1, you can have 3 in every initiative. 3 that we found that was like quite a sweet spot. Defining those outcomes and how you're going to measure progress and then you achieve those outcomes for that little initiative that you have. Then thinking about stakeholders. These are the people that are going to be impacted by this initiative, the people that are going to help you solve that problem. And we use RACI because it's a no-brainer, everyone knows about it. But we thought it was helpful to add what is it needed from the person that is responsible for the initiative. What is it needed from the person that needs to be informed? Because then the person that is named knows what is expected from them and how to help you. Scope is the next one. So when doing the scope, this is when this is how you're going to define what is in and out of the scope of initiative. But more importantly, what's out. It's very easy to start poking at a problem, and then you find another problem, and another problem, and another problem. So you need to be very clear about what is part of the initiative and what you're going to park to solve as part of another initiative. Then it comes the high-level plan. This is your Kanban board kind of thing. How are you going to break down into things or tasks that you're going to do to complete that initiative? We like to have a little, very simple, who is doing what, what's the status of this. You can use a Kanban board for that. Works beautifully. If you're creating anything like any maps, any drawings or anything like that, link everything in. Everything is in one place. As I said, one-stop shop is helpful. Then, when we get to this point, it's important to remember that this is not like you do once and that's it. It's done. You're going to go back and revisit it. And you can bake that feedback at this stage in your workflow. So the initiative is going to have a workflow, the stages that they're going to go through, and then you can add in something like go back to the stakeholders and reveal the briefing that you've just created for these initiatives. The workflows that we used were prioritized, then briefing, then you kick off, then you might want to test and might want to pilot with one team first, just get the feedback from that team, go back, tweak the solution, go back and roll out to all the other teams. So that's what the initiative looks like, and we store it in, I don't know, Confluence or anything like that, wherever the company's tools work, whatever company the tool is using. And here comes my second key takeaway for you. The initiatives must have an end and be measurable. It's very easy, again, it's very easy to get lost, and it's very easy to start solving one problem and end up with many, many different problems. And I've suffered a lot with that in the past, where I was trying to solve this little thing for a team, and I end up somewhere over there, and then that thing was not solved. So it's really important that those initiatives have an end, that you say, it's done, and I'm going to go to the next initiative. Now, you have all of this structure, this thing for your team. You have a mission, a strategy, initiatives, but you have the actual team doing the work, the Agile Coaches function or your Scrum Master chapter. So it's important to think about the ways of working of that team. Depending on how it's set up, you might have a center of excellence type of where the Agile Coaches are part of this one chapter that goes and solve a problem and come back kind of thing. But thinking about how they're going to work effectively is as important as having the mission, strategy, and initiatives. So we use the initiative workflow as the board. So if your team is using a Kanban board, we can make that the workflow of the initiatives as the board that the team is going to go and look every day. They're going to have the standard team events that we have, dailies, retrospectives, planning, all of that. On planning, when planning for initiatives, I find it very helpful to have metrics. The same metrics that we teach our teams to use for their work, we use ourselves. Actionable Agile being great for it. I'm a big fan. So think about, you have a whole year to achieve that strategy. You have many, many problems. You might come up with initiatives, like a laundry list of initiatives on the day one of the year, for example. You need to prioritize that somehow, and you need to understand whether you can actually do those initiatives throughout the year, right? So having some metrics about how long initiatives are taking, or how many you can do in a quarter is really helpful to start planning ahead. So you can start telling the teams, we're solving these problems this quarter, and everything going well. Next quarter, we might look into these problems. In the future quarter, we might look at those problems. So you can apply the same principles. Because this is about showing the value that we add, it's important that you do all this work and you show that this work is done, not like keeping it within your team in a space, in a Confluence that that nobody can look at. Go and do roadshows. Use the townhouse, all hands that the company have for all the other chapters, and show all of this to them. Show to them what this team is here for, how can they help you, what initiatives or problems we're solving. is every time that I did that, I found a lot of people thinking, great, you're going to solve that problem for us. So I'm really happy, can I join you? Most of the time, we got a lot of sympathy and empathy and help from the people that were really feeling the pain of whatever problem you're trying to solve. So it's really good that you actually broadcast what you're doing. I also do progress updates. It feels a bit weird in a way, but with senior leadership, often telling them every week, every couple of weeks, the progress of initiatives, the things you've done, how things are going, is really helpful to keep in their mind what you're doing, what is happening, what the result you're getting. Do it. If you don't want to have meetings about it, send an email, create a newsletter, whatever form works, really. And the last point is really depending on how the team is set up. My current team is aligned to, they're aligned to initiatives. They are not part of a specific vertical tribe, or they're not directly working with the teams. So we often get asked like, can you help me facilitate this retrospective for my team? Or can you run the ways of working workshop? And you don't want the full capacity of your agile coaching function to go to the initiatives. You want to be working with the teams on these smaller things, let's say. So have a way to accommodate those, but really, really think about how you're gonna prioritize those, or how much time you can spend on these things. So having a definition of acceptance is really good. Some requests are gonna come, you're gonna say, no, I'm really sorry, I cannot facilitate a 3-hour workshop with you, but I can show you how to do it. I can help you form that workshop, and then you go and deliver it. Bonus is that you actually pass on the skill and knowledge, and it creates capability within those teams. And the reason for that is my third key takeaway. We don't have the luxury anymore, I don't think, of having one coach per team anymore. So coaching functions, Scrum Master chapters have limited capacity. It's often a very little team covering a large organization. So really focus the team working on things that have big impact, and create capability by teaching people on how to do the more day-to-day stuff, so that you don't have to be running every retrospective for them every 2 weeks. Right. Then I guess I'm done with a recap. How am I doing by time? Is it really good?
Yeah, you've got 2 minutes before.
Lovely. So my recap for you is this. Create a mission that is resonating with the team, and avoid jargon and plain English. Create a strategy that is aligned to the company, not the Agile Manifesto. Create initiatives that have an end, are measurable, to show the work that you've done. And really think about the way your team is working for maximum impact. And if you do that, I can tell you, you're going to actually show the value that you will add to the companies. That's me. Thank you.